Zellweger made his long-awaited return to the lineup after being healthy scratch 4 straight games and 8 of the last 12. It was his first game since January 21st. Meanwhile, Michikov was a healthy scratch for the first time since January 23rd, and right-handed defenseman, I feel like that's important to say, Helleson suited up for his 5th straight game. The day before, Cronin admitted that sitting Zelly for that long was not good for his game, and said, "We gotta find a way to get him more ice time." It's almost like he suddenly realized he could do something about that, like it's his job or something. Hopefully, this means a more even rotation for the young defenseman moving forward, but Verbeek could just trade Dumoulin and solve the problem altogether. There is truly no one who works harder than Zelly. He was doing suicides all by himself after practice to stay ready, and when he finally got back in, there was some rust, but that's kinda to be expected. He played just over 16 minutes and was a +1, but more importantly, he was flying around and even drew 2 penalties. His ability to turn zone exits into zone entries was on full display, and his mobility adds a much-needed boost to the Ducks' transition game.
I thought he was great. He gets up the ice quickly. I think he's got a good offensive IQ. I think there's a fluidness to his game that complements the rushes when we get him, and he works tirelessly in the defensive end.
So play him more, Crow? That wasn't the only interesting lineup decision, as Terry was out with illness, forcing Cronin to shuffle the lines.
I wonder how many versions that head coach Greg Cronin went through before he settled on this is the combination Cronin hopes is able to generate offense in this afternoon tilt against the Montreal Canadiens.
That felt like some shade from Hazy there. And while it would be easy to criticize what looked like an atrocious lineup, it honestly pains me not to. The fact is, it worked. The Ducks hit their magic number, scoring 3 goals to win 3-2 over the Canadiens, just as I predicted. That prediction wasn't looking great early on though. The first period felt like the Ducks might not score all game while being completely outplayed, as the Habs generated rush chance after rush chance. Dostal may have only faced 23 shots on the night, but he was the reason the game stayed close early on, especially with a huge 2-on-1 one-timer save on Caulfield. That chance came after Gudas went for a hip check on Slavkovsky, missed entirely, and left Caulfield wide open. You would think someone playing their 800th game would make a better decision, but still, congrats on 800 though, Radko. Shortly after, Zellweger drew one of his penalties I mentioned earlier, putting the Ducks on the power play. Unfortunately, what is supposed to be an advantage backfired. Lacombe failed to keep the puck in at the blue line, leading to an odd man rush. Evans poked the puck past Lacombe. McTavish hustled to force Evans towards the boards, but he couldn't cut off the pass to Armia, crashing through the middle, and it's 1-0 Canadiens.
And the faithful booing at Honda Center.
The Canadiens doubled their lead with another special team strike 4 minutes later. Just as their power play was about to expire, Matheson fired a one-timer, and the rebound went right to Dvorak, who was left wide open in the slot, making it 2-0 Canadiens. Looking to spark some energy, Johnson dropped the gloves with Jack-Eye in a spirited scrap that the Ducks players and Cronin later called the turning point of the game, and the reason he got the hard hat. On the ensuing faceoff, the Ducks took a penalty, leading to a hilarious reaction from Zegras. The Ducks cut off Z's penalty and carried that momentum into the rest of the game. Montreal earned its 3rd power play after Harkins delivered a bad hit from behind. Easily could have been a major, but he only got 2 minutes, so I wasn't too mad about him getting tackled. The Ducks killed it off thanks to Dostal's save. Zellweger then drew his 2nd penalty of the night. The Ducks managed 2 solid shots, but couldn't find the back of the net. But they didn't have to wait long. Carlson flew up the ice, kept the play alive with a slick stick lift. McTavish fed Killorn, then crashed the net and tipped in his shot. That's 7 goals in the last 6 games for Mac and Cheese, leading the NHL in goals since January 21st. Pretty good for a third liner, huh? Or I guess he's not just a third liner anymore, as Cronin has now backtracked, now calling him a utility knife who can play anywhere. Nice try, old Gregory, but that's not saving you. And just like that, the Ducks tied the game 40 seconds later. A Zegras cross-ice pass sprung Strome, who dropped it perfectly into Vetrano's wheelhouse, and boom, one-timer back of the net, 2-2. Feisty Frank is back. Look at that confident Selly. Missed those. Dak was called for cross-checking just before the horn, meaning the Ducks would start the 3rd on the power play. Naturally, they didn't score. Midway through, Montembeau made a huge stop, getting lucky when a Trouba point shot deflected right into his glove. But he wouldn't get lucky again as the Ducks took the lead. Killorn recognized the space and absolutely ripped a shot that deflected in. This might have been Killer's best game of the season. Those old legs were zooming around the ice. Leeson rocked Suzuki, and Caulfield tried to jump in. Look at Frank with his hands up. Not touching, not touching. The Ducks nearly extended their lead with a tic-tac-toe setup, Killorn to McTavish to Carlson, but the puck rolled off Leo's skate at the last second. Still, this was the best Carlson had looked in a while, finishing the night with 2 assists, but he was leading rushes and seemed more engaged than he has been. One last big save by Dostal, and Fabry raced down the ice, drawing a hooking penalty with just 6 seconds left.
And all that does is just make the numbers look worse at the end of the day.
Meaning the Ducks finish 0 for 4 on the power play, now scoreless in their last 9. But the Ducks win 3-2. After a sluggish first period, they completely shut down the Habs. I didn't mention his name earlier, but Lacombe continues to impress. Aside from that one bad pinch on the power play, he was driving through Montreal's defense and making crisp outlet passes. Just look at this sauce. And then this play, where he kicked the puck to his stick and reached to get a shot on net, insane. Looking like something Zegras would pull off. The Ducks will be back at it again tomorrow versus the Stars at 7:30 p.m. as this game will be on ESPN, not Victory. Thank you to our members. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and go Ducks!